This week on Doug Has an Enormous Penis.
So make sure you got the wide angle lens.
Hey there, heroes. Welcome to another episode of No Comics for Old Men. Ken is here again, currently here.
Yes, I'm hanging out.
We're here at Haven for Heroes in a different location because people were playing Magic on the table and we weren't able to sit there. But we're going to get into it. We're going to keep doing independence. We figure there's enough reviews of Marvel and DC. You don't need us telling you about it. What we'll do is we're going to find the great independents that might get missed.
Or the not so great.
Or the absolutely the not so great. We're going to actually start out with the not so great. So I never read the Game of Thrones books, but I did read this. I did have watched the show, and I really loved the show. So they came out with a comic, Clash of Kings, George R.R. Martin's Song of Fire, Ice and Fire, Book 2. It's bad. The art is okay. The rendering is soft. It's very, very wordy. It's bad.
Yeah, I also really didn't care for it that much. I have read the books, well, at least up to 5 as far as he got to, and I am a big fan of the series. But one of the things we were talking about is you have the books, so if you've read the books, you kind of have a vision of what the characters look like. Then if you've seen the TV series, that's kind of, their look is more ingrained in your brain. It was like, those are kind of what the characters should look like, speak like, act like. And then you have the comic that's a third interpretation, and it doesn't really follow the other two. I mean, basically, they all look the same. I mean, Tyrion's still a dwarf, you know, Varys is still bald, but the way they dressed, I don't, it's weird. It doesn't seem as medieval, and it kind of ruins it for me. And I don't really think, not that the artwork's bad, I just don't think the style fits the story. It doesn't strike me as being fantasy type artwork. It's more kind of rendered superhero kind of style, which is not bad, but not good for the book.
Story.
As far as the writing goes, it does follow the book fairly well, and it's wordy. I mean, if you've read the books, they're pretty thick, and there's a lot that goes on. They've kind of streamlined it for the TV series, but I guess with the comic, they're going to go more straight up adaptation of the book, which not bad. But again, it was like, as someone who's a fan of the story, I don't need a third adaptation of it. It was like I read the books, I watched the TV series, and the comic really didn't make me want to read another adaptation. I hate giving bad reviews, but just, not really, didn't really do it for me at all.
We will give bad reviews. So if your book is subpar, please send us cash not to review it.
Or to review it favorably.
We don't take bribes. Maybe.
No. Well, it depends on how big they are. I got a family. I got to feed people.
So next is another Aftershock book. We're actually going to do an Aftershock, just a one-time all on Aftershock. We're going to talk about Baby Teeth today. Baby Teeth is up to issue 3, but we're going to review issue 1 because I just got a chance to start getting into it. Since I got into Unholy Grail and what's the Pestilence?
Yeah.
Since I got into those, I've been reaching back and finding more Aftershocks to read. This company's really killing it, man. Baby Teeth, another great one. I guess she's having the a baby that it happens to be the Antichrist. So it's her. The first issue is her going back and retelling the tale of her having the baby. It's good. It's really good. The art's, it's not a superhero book, and it's kind of a horror book, I guess. The art's good. It fits the story fine.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's another good book from Aftershock. I mean, since reading Unholy Grail, I had never really heard of the company. I think they've only been out for like a year, maybe
probably
2
that,
years,
maybe tops
at the most. And the stuff I've seen has been really top quality stuff. Original stories, really pretty diverse too. There's definitely something for any kind of interest. We did Unholy Grail in a previous episode, which was a really good retake on Arthurian mythos. Baby Teeth, kind of little like The Omen, but I wouldn't say really it's not a bite off of it. It's just the fact that the girl is giving birth to the Antichrist, and she has no idea what's going on really. It's told in a flashback, so as she's telling it, it seems like a lot has happened, and she's kind of filling it in flashbacks, but still really well written and definitely interesting. Another book that as you read it, you want to know more about what's going on. I've actually read up to 3, and the baby's born, and there's certain traits that it's showing, like instead of feeding on breast milk, it likes to drink blood. So that could be an indication that it's probably going to be a problem childhood, and I can't even imagine what the Antichrist would be like in the terrible teens, but it's definitely a good book and worth checking out. Like we said, we're definitely going to do a feature on Aftershock, the company, and feature some of the other books, and it definitely hit on catching up on the ones that we've already reviewed, but
Right.
really good. I would say check them out if you're looking for a new company and a new take on some really good stories.
Yep. So then we read Generations Gone. I read number 2. Ken actually went back and read number 1 also. It's from Image. It's sort of, they're building a new universe, kind of. 3 superheroes so far.
Yeah.
People with powers. 3 people with powers.
Yeah, 3 people with powers.
It's done through a program. Computer program.
It's basically how it starts off. Is there's a guy, I guess a genius guy that's working for like a kind of like an underground military industrial company that's building weapons, and he has a pet project where he's trying to unlock the code, I guess, to existence. Basically, like everything's coded from DNA to everything, computer programs, anything else, and he comes up with a program that actually can rewrite your DNA just by reading the code. And the 3 main characters are hackers who are basically trying to hack into his company to steal money so they can pay their bills, and he detects them and he shoots the code to them. They read it. They basically bleed from the eyeballs in every orifice, and they wake up and they have superpowers. Definitely better than I'm making it sound. It's definitely interesting.
Of course, that is a prerequisite to bleed from all your orifices
Yes.
before you become a superhero.
Well, they had their clothes on, so I'm not sure if it was every orifice, but that's also a little more information than anybody needs. But yeah, it's definitely a good book, a good start, an original take on superhero origin story, and definitely interested to
Better than average art, I thought.
Yeah.
And better than average storytelling. So.
Yeah, definitely something worth to check out if you're interested in your take on superheroes.
Yep.
Speaking of which,
Yep. Another whole new universe. This one by Lionforge. This is Incidentals. They also have Superb, Excel, and Noble. I think Noble was their first book out. We'll probably hit on one of those down the road, or 2 of those or more. I have read Superb, so I'm familiar with the company. Basically, they're all built around these meteors that strike the Earth, and if you were near them when they struck the Earth, then you get superpowers. And now people are being hunted for it, both the government and another shadow government type, or maybe not government type, but a shadow agency looking for them. It was okay.
yeah, it's basically a decent first issue. Again, trying to start a new superhero universe from scratch. Meteor thing could be interesting. I mean, it's a first issue, so you're not going to get the whole story about what's going on. Like there are powered individuals that are trying to find other superpowered individuals, and they're being hunted by some kind of a military organization. Not exactly sure if they want to use them for their own ends, if they want to kill them, what's going on yet. But it's definitely an interesting story. I kind of like Generation Gone a little better.
I do. Out of the 2, I think I would definitely say Generation Gone is a much better story.
Yeah.
But John Casey's a good writer.
Yeah.
And the art is very superhero. It's good stuff. It kind of reminiscent of Jim Lee-ish.
Yeah, it's got kind of
Silvestri,
that old
that
school image kind
yeah,
of
feel.
artwork, which definitely works for the superhero genre, especially the kind of universe they're creating.
Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to say it's as good as Jim Lee.
No, but it's
in
that style.
It's
sure.
in that style. Yeah. And then I read Black Hammer. Let's see, what is it up to now? Number 12. I haven't been reading Black Hammer on a regular basis. I read, I think, maybe issue 7 or 8. There is no reason why I shouldn't be reading every single one. It's Jeff Lemire. It is really well written. This is a wordy comic that I will definitely read. I usually don't, I like the pictures to tell a lot of the story, but he's such a great storyteller. It's really, really good. If you haven't read Black Hammer, you need to go out and get the trade paperback. The early issues have started to go up in value, so it's a little hard to get, but and hard to find. But catch up. It's a great story.
It's definitely worth reading for sure. I'm still playing catch up, but you can't go wrong with Jeff Lemire. I mean, even the stuff he's done for Marvel. Not that I'm a Marvel hater, but it's harder to do something interesting and new with superheroes. And the Old Man Logan,
Right.
Some
was
of
a
the
great
stuff he was
series.
doing is really good, and he's great at writing characters that actually feel real and not like
Yeah.
cardboard cutouts, which
Yeah.
I think, that plays into it. His stuff is a little more wordy than a lot of other
Three-dimensional
comics.
emotionally.
Yeah, but they definitely flesh out the character. So if you're interested in character-driven comics, then I would say check out pretty much anything Jeff Lemire has done, because it really is. It's great story, and the art works with the storyline too. It definitely goes along with it.
It's a great. So basically, it's about the Black Hammer is missing, presumed dead, and his daughter. It's basically about her, and now at issue 12, she is given a key from another character that her father had given to him, and now she's going to start investigating what really happened. Where is her father? Because she doesn't believe him to be dead. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, but it's really well written. You can't say enough, and the art's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
The art's good. It definitely
Nothing to make
fits
me stand on my head, but it's good.
No, it's more independent-y.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really a word, but it's kind of like that.
We
but
like
it does
to make up our own
Yeah,
words.
whatever. It's we can make up our own vocabulary. This is our show.
The Haven Dictionary.
We're gonna add that one in. But yeah, and it's definitely like Emmett said, it'd probably be easier to track it down in the trade, and it is one of those stories where you can appreciate it better if you read it in one kind of bulk sitting, and you get like the first 6 issues in a row, because it does take a while to build and figure out what's going on with the story and where it's going. So being able to read a trade and hitting 5 or 6 issues in a row really I think it'll enhance the story as far as just reading it from month to month, because occasionally, especially when you get our age, sometimes you forget what you read last month.
That's why you got to keep last month's issue right there.
Yeah, it definitely helps to have the back issues. And I like getting the singles, but it's nice to read
Absolutely.
graphic novels and get one nice chunk of a story in one sitting.
Yeah, if you're a person that wants to read for enjoyment and not going to collect, trade paperbacks definitely is the way to go.
Yeah.
You basically can get them at the same price all the time, and even get them at discounts. Whereas, like you can get Walking Dead #1 through 7 for I think it's $14 or $19, and issue #1 is between $1,500 and $3,000 book. So I mean, that's the thing is if you're going to collect. Go out and find the issue. Pay a little bit more now if you think it's going to be worth more later. But if you want to enjoy this stuff, because it is enjoyable literature, it really is, and it is literature. Trust me. You need to. It doesn't matter which way you read it. If you read it in trade paperback or if you read it in comic form. Saying that, when this actually comes out, the new previews guide will be out, and I'm going to plug my nephew's new book, Coyotes, is going to be in that under Image. So if you're going through the previews guide, stop at Coyotes and order you up 5 or 10. I don't think I got any more today.
Oh, I think that's it. That looks like it wraps up our review for this week.
Yeah. Keep reading comics.
Yeah, keep reading. We'll see you next time. Cool. Da-da-da-da.